how many dimes and nickels does Bob have in his pocket? It's not one of those. They're all good ones. So I'm going to present screen here. Hold on a second. All right, y'all should be seeing my screen pop up. And we are recording. And let me see, what's the first one? Let me get these things in order. 3.979, that one, nope. 3.5, yep. 3.5. 3.5, number 48/9. Let me write it down. 3.5. .48/9. And here's your question. Is it a test question? Yes, it's a test question. No, that's not the one. That's 2.5. I want 3.5. 3.5. I thought that's the one I was on. Sorry. There we go. Number 22. 48/22. There we go. And that is a test question. Now, I want you to ignore the answer, and I want you to just write the problem down. So y is equal to 9 tan x over 5 plus 5 secant of x. All right, and they want you to find the derivative, of course. And the first thing you're going to reach for is the handy-dandy sheet that I sent y'all. Unless you've got everything memorized, which I doubt it, because some of y'all probably haven't even printed this out. I'm sorry. And there is the sheet you should have printed out for the one or two that actually did print it out. And you're going to be using the derivative of the trig functions. So I'm going to slide that over here, get that out of the way. So we got the quotient rule. So y prime is equal to denominator times numerator prime minus, I've got to go to Walgreens, get me some more pens, minus the numerator times the denominator prime all over the denominator what? Squared. Okay, now go ahead and start. I've set it up for you. Give you a minute or two to work it. And everybody should be able to do something with it, since you've got the derivatives right there in front of you with the sheet that I gave you. And you should be able to do it. And if you're not able to do it, then we'll just write you up as a failure. And somebody tell me the derivative of the tangent.
Secant squared x.
Secant squared. So that's going to be 9 secant squared x. Minus, and I'm going to go ahead and just leave that in brackets. Careful here. What is the derivative of secant? Secant tan. And that's what people say. Of course, they don't have it written like that because that would not be the way to say it. But the derivative of the secant is the secant tan. And therefore, it might be easier for you to remember it. Secant tan. So 0 plus secant tan. All right, now, technically, the calculus is over, so I'm going to give you another minute or two to do your algebra and maybe a trig identity here and there. And you should be able to simplify. Say again?
Why wouldn't it be 5 secant tan x?
It would. I just forgot to write it.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Thank you. Okay, now do your thing. And I'll tell you what I would suggest. I would suggest you start by distributing that. And then distributing this however you want to. You're going to get a tangent squared. Oh, tangent squared. Oh, that's an identity. So y prime is equal to 45 secant squared plus 45 secant cubed. I'm going to leave that minus sign there. Minus, and then I'm going to put in brackets, it'll be 45 secant x tan squared x. And you can rewrite that tan squared as what? Secant squared minus 1. So I'm going to rewrite y prime is equal to, and that's over, and 45 secant squared x plus 45 secant cubed x minus 45 secant x. Take my blue marker. Secant squared x minus 1. Hey, I see a secant cubed and a minus and a minus and a plus. I think we're going to get something to cancel out over something squared. And I'm going to carry this over to the next page. Okay, so there it is. Of course, it's not cooperating, but there it is. And I'm going to go y prime is equal to 45 secant squared plus 45 secant cubed x minus 45 secant cubed x plus 45 secant of x all over, what is it, 5 plus 5 secant, 5 plus 5 secant squared and take our red pen out. And what happens to the secant cubes? They go out, Hubert. That's right, class.
Cancel.
Thank you. Y prime is equal to 45 secant squared x plus 45 secant x over 5 plus 5 secant x to the second power. All right, now I want each one of y'all to figure out how to simplify this even more. There's one more step, and I want you to do it quietly because it's algebra. Those of you that's already done it, good, you are a winner. Give y'all about 20 or 30 seconds. Looks like we can factor out something, maybe 9 secant, maybe. So I'm going to factor out 9 secant x, and that's going to leave me with 5 secant x, 5 secant x, plus what? Over 5 plus 5 secant x times 5 plus 5 secant x. And what happens to 2 of the 5 plus 5 secant x's?
They
They
cancel.
cancel.
And that leaves you with your answer. Now, why would I put this on the test? Because y'all know I like short and sweet. But why would I put this on the test? Why would I put this on your test? Not because I don't like you, not because I want you to fail, none of that. Why would I put this one on the test?
Because it's a lot
It's
of
just like a
algebra.
step-by-step question.
Because it has what?
A lot of algebra.
It has everything. It has trig. It has the quotient rule. It has identities. And it has algebra. Now, would I give you 5 of these? No. Would I give you 1 of them? Yes. This one is a good test question, but I'm not going to give you 5 or 6 of them. Okay? Kitty cat, you don't have to leave me alone. I got a cat on my shoulder. All right. Question, gripe, complaint. It's a good problem. Let's see if we got it right. Let's look at the answer. 9 secant, 9 secant, 5 plus 5 secant. We are winners. Y'all feel good about yourselves, don't you?
That's right.
Y'all don't need to wear sunglasses in the building, do you?
Oh,
Next
no,
one.
it's pretty bright in the building. That's
Yeah,
why I
they're
gotta
pretty
wear 'em.
bright. Yeah, Walmart and Target, they have real bright, you know. So when you go in, make sure you wear your sunglasses, guys. 3.795 / 30. 3.795 30. Now, why would I put this one on the test? So you run away. That's why. Because that's what y'all would do when you see this question. I can't do that. That's E. So get to it. I'll write it down for you. Y is equal to E to the 2x. And they give you a point. X is equal to 1/2 natural log of 2. And they're talking about the equation of the tangent line. Well, you automatically know right then what? You're going to have to do the slope so you can get, and what's the point going to be? Okay, well, what do you do with natural log of 2? What do you do with that to get a y?
You plug it into the equation.
Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you're going to come up with 2. Because the natural log is going to cancel the e, and the 2 is going to basically be 2. So I'm going to give you that, okay? You don't have to do that. So I'm going to take a colored pen because I want y'all to see that we need to do that first. I'm going to do that orange. Okay, so we got our point. Now we need the slope. So you've got to take the derivative of this. Is it that difficult? No, it's real simple. What's the derivative of e to the x? E to the x. So you rewrite this. That's the easy part. Y prime is equal to e to the 2x. Then what?
The derivative of the
Chain rule.
Using the chain rule. Good job. What's the derivative of what's inside?
2.
2.
So y prime is equal to 2e to the 2x. And that is the same thing as the what? The equation for the what? Slope. Okay, now I'm going to let you do everything else because calculus is done. You got to find a slope, so you can use y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. You got your slope right here, but you got to plug in something. Go ahead and finish it. Do not use a calculator. Okay, use your algebra skills to cancel out whatever you need to cancel out. The natural log is going to be in the answer. They're not doing the natural log in your calculator. I'll give you a hint. Y prime is equal to e to the 2 times 1/2 natural log of 2. And I think you're going to see some stuff cancel out there. And you know, I told you what e to the 2x was. E to the 2x is what? 2. So you already know what e to the 2. I'm going to shut up. Y prime is equal to 2e. That goes out. Natural log of 2. And we already, you know, basically you get what? M is equal to what? 4. Now, we have a point and a what? That means I want y'all to say something. We have a point
Slope.
and a what?
Slope.
Slope.
And using the what?
Point slope equation.
Okay, put it through. See if you can get it. I saw that, Miss Rodriguez. You're the only one that yawns in this class. I'm just kidding. You're the only one that doesn't show me the ceiling and they're yawning. That's why people shoot to the ceiling. I'm going to do that with y'all. There we go. I'm going to do like y'all and shoot to the ceiling. I don't know why y'all do that. I know why some of y'all do it. Some of y'all do it so you can leave the room and go back to sleep or go eat or whatever. I know why you do it. But Miss Parker, where are you heading? You must be on vacation. She looks like she's going to the beach. You going to the beach, Miss Parker?
I'm in Florida.
Okay. It's awful, isn't it? Have to be in math class while you're in Florida. That's just awful. Y minus 2 is equal to 4 times x minus 1/2 natural log of 2. Y minus 2 is equal to 4x minus 4 times 1/2 natural log of 2. Y minus 2 is equal to 4x minus natural log of 2. I'm sorry, 2 natural log of 2. And y is equal to 4x minus 2 natural log of 2 plus 2. Now, of course, you can do your calculator, but they just wanted the equation. So there's the equation. Now, the reason I like this question for a test question, tell me about the calculus of this problem.
Minimal.
Very minimum. Right there. There's the calculus. In fact, let's take a blue marker and we're going to just put a cloud around that right there because there's the calculus. Okay, next problem. $3.786 3.786/28. And this one is a good test question because you will probably skip to the next one when you see this one on the test. Product rule, first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. I'll write it down for you. Y is equal to, and not only find the first derivative, but you got to find the what? Second derivative. 9x sine of x squared. And I'm going to put a little set of parentheses around that x squared. So y'all will remember the chain rule. And y prime is equal to first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. Okay, I'm going to do the derivative in orange, and I'm going to write everything step by step. So that way you won't, the people that suck at this, they'll see every step. 9x. The derivative of the sine is the negative cosine of x squared, and then 2x. So all that is first times derivative of the second. Plus sine of x squared times 9. All right, the calculus is done, folks, for the first derivative. So y prime is equal to negative, well, at 9x, that's a negative. Somebody tell me what negative times 9x times 2x is.
Negative 18x squared.
Thank you. Plus 9 sine of x squared. And that is y prime, folks. So circle that. And now I'm going to give you about 5 minutes or 4 minutes. And I want you to find the second derivative.
Wait, Hubert.
Yes.
Isn't the derivative of sine x to the squared just cosine x to the squared, not minus cosine?
Yes, you're right. Thank you. So that'd be a positive. Thank you. Thank you. I guess I was getting ahead of myself. I think the second derivative is the negative cosine. So we're going to have to do the product rule again, and then just take the derivative of 9 sine x squared. So I'm going to take my blue marker, and I'm just going to put a blue set of brackets there, because that's my product rule again. And I'm going to take my, I had a purple marker. No, that looks like black. Let me do this lavender. And that's by itself. So in the blue, if I take the derivative of y prime, I get double y prime. And that's going to be first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. Plus lavender, the derivative of the sine is the cosine. Please don't let me make that mistake again. So I'm going to go ahead and do this in orange. That's going to be 9 the cosine of x squared times what? 2x. Well, I just took the derivative of that. So now we're going to focus back on the product rule. And y double prime is equal to brackets 18x squared. The derivative of the cosine is the negative sign of x squared. And what is the derivative of x squared? 2x, Hubert. Plus cosine of x squared. And the derivative of 18x squared is 36 what? 36x, Hubert. Plus, and I might as well just leave that orange because I just took the derivative of everything, so I'll just leave this orange, x squared times 2x, and that's in blue, or lavender. And now you're ready to do your algebra. So I'm going to go back to black. Y double prime. Okay, you got a negative times a 2x. So negative 2x times 18 is negative, y'all help me out, 36x cubed. Sine of x squared plus 36x squared, sorry, x, wait a minute, 36x times cosine of x squared plus 18x cosine of x squared. And 18 and 36, what is that, 54?
Yep.
I'm going to check my math. Negative 36x to the third sine of x squared plus 54x cosine of x squared. And since you have a sine and a cosine, I doubt very seriously you're going to be able to do anything. I mean, you might could factor out a 9x, but that's about it. So if you get it down to this point, I really don't care what you put in as an answer. That's about the correct answer right there. At least I hope it is. Let's see what they want. 3. They got 54x cosine of x squared minus 36x. We are winners. Now, again, that problem right there, just like the first problem we did, it has pretty much everything in it. It doesn't have identity in it, but it has the product rule versus the quotient rule. You're taking the second derivative. Problem we did a while ago only did the first derivative. So, you know, it has everything in it too, except it doesn't have identity. Next one. This one is 3.7 42/17. 3.7 42/17. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think we've done one of these before, okay? Because it's to the 5th power. So this is kind of like the first time we've done one where the cosine is to the 5th power and the sine is to the 5th power. So we're going to use what we call U substitution. So I'm going to write it down for you. Y is equal to cosine 5th power of theta plus sine 5th power of theta. Now, when you have one like this, and like I said, I don't think we've done one like this. I want you to think of this to a power and this to a power, and I want you to rewrite it. I want you to say this is y equal u to the 5th power plus v to the 5th power. And then I want you to take the derivative of these two, because u is equal to cosine and v is equal to the sine. And that's going to be 5u to the 4th y prime is equal to 5u to the 4th plus 5v to the 4th. And remember, the chain rule, we have to take the derivative, and with the cosine, we can't just say, since it's to the 5th power, we can't just say the derivative of the cosine is the negative sine and the derivative of the sine is cosine. Okay? What you do over here is you go u prime is equal to derivative of cosine is the negative sine. V prime, the derivative of sine, is the cosine. And then you put them in with your next step. This is not a test question because I don't think you're ready for these yet. These actually you do in 2nd semester calculus. Ultraviolet minus voodoo. And you actually do this in 2nd semester. So this, we're going to do y prime is equal to, that pen is about gone, 5, u is cosine 4th power of x, and then you're going to multiply by u prime, which is negative sine of x. And this is the way you're going to do these. There's no, and then you're going to simplify. So plus 5 sine of x, sine 4th of x, times, and what's the derivative of v? The cosine. And now you just simplify it. Y prime is equal to negative 5 cosine 4x sine x plus 5 sine 4th of x cosine of x. So I'm sorry, theta. I didn't do theta, I did x. My bad. Now, I want you to make a note of this problem because, like I told you before, we haven't done one of these. And what did I do first? Well, here's the problem. I wrote it in terms of u and v. So u is equal to the cosine, and v is equal to the sine. I took the derivative of both of these, and that gave me u prime, v prime. There's something in calculus called u du and v dv. And you're going to see it, ultraviolet minus voodoo. Ultraviolet minus voodoo. And VU, that's just take my word for it, okay? You're going to see this again. So you take U, that's cosine, and V is the sine, and then you take the derivative of both of those, and then you write it U du plus V dV. And that's the answer. And like I said, I probably will not make that a test question because, like I said, we got to do some more derivatives before we get good at that. But that's the basic. Let's check the answer, see what they got. -5 cosine 4 theta sine, -5 cosine 4 theta sine, plus 5 sine 4th cosine. Yep. Leave that up there for a couple of seconds so you can write it down if you didn't get it. And I saved the best for last. Best for last. Which one's the best? 3.9, 79, 20. 3.9, 79, 20. Would I put this on the test? Hell to the yeah. Why is that? Well, because I don't like any of y'all, and I want y'all to fail. And what would you do if you saw this on a test? If you notice, I'm putting all the ones that you run away from on the test. So you're not going to run away from them. Write this one down. F of x is equal to 7x raised to the natural log of 7x power. Now read the directions. Does the direction say find the derivative, or does it say use logarithmic differentiation to evaluate? It says logarithmic differentiation. What is logarithmic differentiation? Well, it's basically, if you want it in layman's terms, it's basically using logs to rewrite equation for easier differentiation. It's like I told y'all before, when you get to diff EQ, you're going to use the natural log a good bit, because a lot of your problems in diff EQ contains what? E. So natural log cancels out E because it's log base E. So you're going to be doing something like this a good bit in diff EQ. First thing you're going to do is take both sides. Now, I'll tell you this right now. Do you think you're going to be using calculus with the natural logs, or are you going to be using algebra? You're going to be using algebra. You're going to do about 3 or 4 steps with the natural log / algebra. Then you're going to get ready to take the derivative. So I want you to use your algebra skills by taking the log of both sides. Change that to y. You know you're going to change that to y because f of x don't work very well. Change that to y and take the log of both sides and see what you can do with it. Just get it in exponential terms and logarithmic terms, not differentiate. Just see what you can do with it. I'll start you off. Y is equal to 7x raised to the natural log of 7x. There you go. Now take the log of both sides. I'm going to take the natural log of both sides. Miss Parker, are you being a chauffeur or are you driving?
I'm being chauffeur today.
Well, how can you write all these problems down while you're going to Florida? Is it mental? You're making mental notes? She's not going to respond. She's going to plead the fifth. That's okay, Miss Parker. At least you're here. And I'm not looking at a ceiling. Thank you. I appreciate it. Mr. Knight, he went on a road trip the other day. He went to freaking Colorado. Oh no, I gave her a compliment and she just went away. That's the way things happen with me. Now she's mad at me.
Overheated because the other day I was in my car and my computer overheated and then I accidentally left and then I couldn't do anything about it.
That's all right. You tried. All right, so I'm going to take the log of both sides and I'm just going to use my red pen. And you know I don't use my red pen unless it's important. So I'm going to take natural log of y and natural log, and that's going to be y equals, and that's going to be 7x to the natural log of 7x. All right, now over here you've got the natural log of a cluster. So you're going to have to break this up. So natural log of y is equal to the natural log of 7 plus the natural log of x to the natural log of 7x power. Somebody tell me what law of logarithms did I use just then? Appreciate the interaction. I have no earthly idea.
I know what you did. I just don't know the name of the process.
It's called the product rule. We've only been using the product rule for everything. Product rule of exponents, product rule of logarithms, product rule of derivatives. Y'all suck. All right. So now I'm going to do another logarithmic rule, and you're not going to know what it is, and I'm going to fuss at you. Natural log of y is equal to the natural log of 7 plus, here it comes, I'm going to use a light blue marker, natural log of 7x times the natural log of x. And somebody tell me what I used there.
Power rule.
Power rule of logarithms. Good job. And now you are ready to take the derivative of both sides. So go ahead. We're going to write it on the next page. So we're going to natural log. I'm going to write everything in black now. Natural log of y is equal to the natural log of 7 plus natural log of 7x times natural log of x. All right? So that means you need to take the derivative of both sides. So this right here, I'll start you off. This right here is going to be 1 over y times y prime is equal to, somebody tell me what the derivative of natural log of 7 is. Everybody should know that. You don't even need a calculator or anything. What is it? What's the derivative of natural log of 7? Good job, Mr. Rodriguez. 0. Because what is the natural log of 7? It is a
Constant.
It's a number. It's a constant. So 0. So you can just take your red pen and what? It's gone. So that means product rule of derivatives left. So equals first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. Okay, finish it. And you might have to revisit this right here. Remember that? Natural log, 1 over x. There it is right there. All right, so somebody tell me what the natural log of 1x is.
1 over x.
Be 1 over x times 1, because you got to take the derivative of the x. And 1 over 7x times what?
Seven.
That's supposed to be orange. Damn it. Y'all better enjoy these colors and these steps. You better enjoy them, because you ain't gonna get them next semester unless you get me for Calc 2. And that ain't happening because I don't teach at Pendleton campus. Yes, we need to teach all of our Calc 2, Calc 3, and Diffie Q at the Pendleton campus. 1 over y. You know what I ought to do? I ought to sue the school on satellite campus discrimination. Reckon I'd win?
Definitely.
Natural log of 7x times 1 over x plus the natural log of x times what? The 7's cancel, and you're left with 1 over x, aren't you? No, it'd be natural log of, let's see, 7 natural log of x. Yeah. So I'm just going to put 7 right here over 7x. And we'll work that out in just a minute. So 1 over y times y prime is equal to, I got natural log of 7x over x plus 7 natural log of x over 7x. And now you're going to multiply by y on both sides to get this to y prime to be by itself. And that's going to give you, y prime is equal to y times natural log of 7x over x plus 7 natural log of x over 7x. And of course, those 7's can cancel. My ceiling fan, evidently I must have turned it up or something. It's blowing everything around. All right. That's going to be natural log of 7 over 7. And somebody tell me what y is. What's y?
Seven x to the natural log of 7x.
Plug that in and that's it. So y prime is equal to, and I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to use yellow because I'm going to bring y back in, and y is equal to 7x to the natural log of 7x times all that stuff.
Hubert, where did you get the 7 for the 7 ln of x in the second?
Right here.
fraction? Yeah.
Got to take the derivative of what's inside. Got it?
Yep. Thanks.
And that's, a lot of people miss that. They miss that part. So natural log of 7x over x plus natural log of x over x. And that's going to probably be your final answer. One of these is going to be your final answer, either this one or this one. But usually they don't want y in the derivative. They want something form of x. So now you could distribute that. It'd be a mess. So I just leave it like that. So let's see what the answer is. And I know y'all are convulsing, so just hold on. Don't start doing the funky chicken on the floor. 2 times, yeah, they did a whole lot more. They might, let's see, natural, yeah, they distributed it. I believe they distributed that 7x. So, more power to them. I'll leave that up there for you. And I think they distributed. Okay, that's good enough for government work because that's all I care about. You get it down to that point. All right, let me go to turn off the presentation, turn off the recording, and just let me check a few names on here.